Well, good morning. We are kind of done with these tractors for now. We are still waiting for a part for that stagger, but we want to bring the truck back in and start working on the pusher axle installation. But the doors are froze shut because we washed the truck off and forgot to leave the doors open when we took it out. We gotta do some finagling to get that thing in here.
Hi, I'm Tony Fast's daughter.
I'm Tony Fast's daughter.
I'm Tony Fast's daughter. Our family has been blessed to farm in Montana
For over 100 years now. And it wouldn't be possible without the great team we have
and blessings from our Savior,
Jesus Christ.
Well, I grabbed an old tow strap, wrapped the frame a few times. I want to scratch a painted frame, right? See if we can move this thing back. Well, the tires are off the ground. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, the smoke's gone. I don't know if this works, burning eyes or cold. To get that slid underneath the frame, figure out where we're gonna mount it and everything. But I know everyone's asking about Super Bs that we can haul in Montana. 105.5 is what they're legal in the book, if you look it up and stuff, and what they say, a set of Super Bs and a 3-axle truck. But you put that pusher axle on there, figuring it all out. I come up with 116,000. Talked to some Canadian guys that haul lots in Montana, up into Canada, and all the DOT guys have told them 116,000. So put that thing on there. We'll be way up there. I can haul more than Tim hauls illegally then.
Oh, I could try.
He doesn't actually haul illegally. He just hauls up to the 10% they allow us to haul. And he's been spot checked, so we're good.
Yeah.
He didn't get a ticket.
My test.
Passed the test. Which I probably would have had to pay anyways if he would have got a ticket. Because I told him how to load.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much I haul, I ain't paying a ticket.
Well, we've got the axle kind of in place where we want it. Figured out our spacing, where our airbag's supposed to go and everything, drilled our holes in the airbag mount. Got those all center punched, ready to start drilling holes through the frame.
Drill doctor to the rescue.
Alright, we're just getting everything in line up here. We got the mark from our back bracket up to the front here. Now mine looks really good right there.
I just saw the truck go up.
Good.
Alright, so today, working on the Pete and the pusher axle, I am installing the gauge box and the pressure setting. And apparently I can't speak. So anyway, box is in half right now. I'm going to put the box, oops, there go the set screws, somewhere about in here, in the sleeper, out of the way, and because you're technically not supposed to, I think, you're not supposed to be within reach of the pressure adjustment, so you can't be adjusting your pressure while rolling over a DOT scale or something like that. Anyway, so be able to run the wires and the air lines through this hole, which is already there, which will then bring me into here, through the sleeper back in there, be able to run it around underneath and bring it up into here. Excuse me, I'll be able to connect to my power, and then they sent a switch with it, but I'm going to tap in and use this spare switch right here. So we'll have axle up, axle down, or vice versa, I don't know. That's the plan. Anyway, that's what we're shooting for. So I've already started taking some of it apart. I've got this kick plate off the door, pulled the door seal up a little bit to make sure that I could lay it down in here nice and neat and well hidden, and also not to where it's going to wear and, you know, rub a hole in the cord or the power line and all that. So air, I don't know what I'm going to do with air yet. I don't want to have to, but I'm assuming I'm going to have to drill a hole in the floor and run the air lines out. Probably right here where the main wire harness is already established. I can run a hole right through there and rubber grommet it, come out here and follow that electrical line until I get to my air supply, I think. So that's tentative plans as of right now, what I'm going to be doing. So something about me and tearing cabs apart this year, I guess. I don't know. Must be the year for it. So anyway, that's the plan. We'll see what happens. And we'll see if I'm smart enough to use the camera to keep you up to date. My camera right now is, again, a GoPro dead battery. It's like a theme. The pusher axle box, pressure gauge, setting, installed. Got the wire ran all the way through the dash. Looking to put it into the reverse sensor, which is that guy right there, because in doing so you won't have to worry about remembering to lift the pusher axle when you back up. It'll automatically lift the axle when the truck goes in reverse. Shouldn't be a big deal, but it can be forgotten anyway. So we're gonna wire that in, and then we have airline coming so that we can just plumb all the airline, and that'll be out of the way. And we got tires for it, just need wheels for it. So Tony's hunting down some wheels. I'm assuming they'll have to be polished, but anyway, there's our tires for it. And he did a little touch-up paint on it last night. So it's coming along quite nicely. You can get the airbags installed, the ones that actually push. The ones that lift the axle, they're already in there. And so we'll get the ones that push it down, plumb it, tap into the brakes. So we have brakes, and I think we need a longer hose too. Anyway, it's coming along. As I came in, like I said, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 1 degree, which means that it is exactly 39 degrees warmer than it was at this time on Sunday morning, and today is Wednesday. So yeah, so nice. Heat wave. We found out that the reverse switch on the transmission is bad, so we got one of those coming, but I got it all wired up and ready for it anyway. So all we got to do is put the new sensor in, plug it back in, should be good to go there. Put the airbags on, and they're tight. And so I'm waiting for, Tony was doing some computer work on the ECM, which is what all this stuff is here. Reverse switch, which is right down there. I can put the splitter blocks in. These just, the air goes into whether you're lifting the axle or dropping the axle. Both blocks are the same. Either way, comes in, splits out, one to each airbag for the one, and then to raise one to each airbag over there. Tony's talking about putting a cross member across here and hanging like a big rubber flap, kind of help protect from rocks. So yeah, a 2-day project turned into 4 or 5.
Now we can finish. $350 worth of fittings and air hose later. Well, these are the blocks that are gonna Y off the power and dump. They're a dump valve as well for the lift. So when you lift the axle, it's gonna dump the air quick out of those bags, then add air to the lift bags, and they both do the same thing. There's one for each.
It's a whole lot of...
What were you talking about? Putting a whistle on there?
Yeah, tape a harmonica to it.
Things you find on the internet for ideas.
Yeah. That way every time you raise or lower your axle, it's like...
And then we got to put a brake protection or whatever they call it valve on the can or on the tank coming back, just so it takes 90 pounds of truck pressure before it puts any air to your axle. So that's going in. Got some stuff for doing brakes. I'm gonna go get all these all tightened up so we can get these mounted, and then we'll start running some lines.
All right, well, we're wrapping up. Still waiting on wheels. The box is all plumbed in everywhere, and I'm not saying that I did that on purpose, but nice together. Anyway, the load bags, as they call them, the bags that push down, we got the wrong fittings for those, so we're waiting on those, but that's just literally thread them in, push the hose in, and it's done. So all the plumbing for the air is done, and it's actually even aired up right now. So the truck is what's holding it up. So that part works, the switch works. I just tested the switch so I can put the dash back together. And still waiting on the reverse switch. That's coming, it's on its way soon. And then I'll be able to put the cab floor back together. Everything's zip tied up tight underneath. So wheels, tires, and 2 air fittings. And we're done. Okay, I just figured this out when I was cutting airline. Granted, my blade's not very sharp, but anyway, Sheffield pocket knife. Replaceable razor blade, right? Just trying to cut, getting rough edges, whatever. A notch right there. Set it in, square it up. Nice and clean. How cool is that? Saves your fingers too.
Well, we got to get the brake line hooked up yet and mounted something like this. I did buy some of these unions or coupler pieces. I think I'm just gonna weld a tab onto here. We'll drill a hole to mount it. Just have it hanging here. This will hook up, run the other side up to the brakes. On the rest of the axles, I think that should do it. Stainless steel fenders coming and some aluminum wheels we'll polish up and put on there.
Well, let me explain how this goes. This camera, which is the one I normally carry, the battery was dead. So I grabbed another camera and I started a time lapse when I washed this. And it got 10 seconds worth of time lapse, which was like a quarter of the washing of this. And the SD card filled up. Anyway, ta-da! Baler's clean, washed up. We didn't go like super deep, mostly just made it look pretty, you know, because we really didn't want to get water and all that junk into the deep parts and start rusting stuff up. Nah, there's some water got in the bale chamber, of course. We did wash this, the stacker, because there was some packed in stuff in the corners and all that, but we were trying to keep the rust out of it, so we didn't like wash super deep, but it's done. As soon as it dries, we'll send it out. So back to the peat and the air fitting nightmare that we've had on it, I guess you could call it. So anyway, hopefully we have everything we need now. Get it together, and just waiting on wheels too. When's our wheels coming, Tony?
I don't know.
He doesn't know. Someday.
He spent 2 days, not really. He spent like 2 or 3 hours with screwdrivers and pry bars. It seemed like 2 days, right?
Longer, way longer.
Just picking at everything and getting all of the chaff off of stuff, the hay. Like it's clean. It's ready to get put in your shed because it's for sale. Haying, it's a lot more work than we want to deal with right now. We have plenty of other things going on with all the farm, like crop production stuff we do, and haying was just too much to do. I actually didn't even do any of it myself this year. I did do some swathing, I guess. I take that back. But neighbor ran the hay equipment for us this year, did all the haying. And he's gonna get some of his own equipment, and our alfalfa is also on its way out. So it's really thinned out the last couple of years. It was probably the perfect storm of disaster between drought, 3 years in a row. I think we planted in 18. 19 was an incredible crop. No, yeah, 19 and 20 were pretty good, but 21, 22, 23, no good. So it's for sale with the Phiber stacker. The only one I could find online with the 2023 model. Compare it for price. So I'm not really sure what I want for it yet. Obviously as much as I can get, but we'll figure that out yet. So if you're interested, you can email me, message me, whatever. Reach out, we'll figure something out. Gonna get it posted online. If you're not familiar with what this thing is, this is a stacker that the bales come out the back. It'll stack 3 of them high, weighs them all. We added the scale kit to it. So it'll weigh the bales individually, has a tally of all that. And then when there's 3 bales in there, these gates back here will open and the bales will slide out on the ground. 3 stacked high, ready to load right into a semi. It saves a ton of time versus just individual bales and having to go and grab them with anything besides the stinger, which was really fast. But so 8,600 bales on it, a 2020 model, and yeah, it's going down the road onto different things on the farm. So that is the plan. Bye, Baler.
Polished by the master himself, Tony Fast. He's actually in there right now finishing up the other one. I'm gonna try not to destroy his hard work by putting that on.
Well, you guys have seen us polish wheels before. Quite the little change. Hold on. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. One on, one to go.
Voila. Number 2 on. Needs more chrome.
Missing a few things yet. Should lift the axle back up now. That's enough for this week, so time to call it a day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, farm hard, pray harder, and we'll see you next video.